This weekend, Pokemon Go Fest. Oh wait, no, let me correct that. This weekend, Global Go Fest is coming up, and you need to strategize on how to make the best out of this weekend's event. So, your boy is here to help you out. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy True Inferno. Today's day is Monday, May the 30th. I think I'm doing that correctly. Yeah, I'm doing that correctly. It's late at night. It's like nearly 2 a.m. So, here's what's going on. As you all should know, this coming weekend is Global Go Fest. This is the one where everybody and the mama can take part in this event. Doesn't matter where you are, but let me give you a disclaimer before we really hop into this. If you're not going anywhere, if you're going to stay at home for whatever reason, don't buy a ticket. Do not buy a ticket. Do not use the instance. This is the type of event where whether you want to or not, for whatever reason you can or cannot, whatever the case may be, you need to be out somewhere. You need to be out somewhere. That's just how it is. So this is the type of event you should not try to do at home. I'm letting you know right now, especially if you want to get a ticket. It's a race of money for you to get a ticket and then do the entire event Saturday and Sunday from home. Don't do it. If you got something, scheduled like work or other responsibilities, don't get a ticket. Your weekend should be free for Go Fest. That's the disclaimer I have for you guys. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing you should do, real talk, is study up. So, that's why you're watching this video. It's another form of studying up. But no, you can do your own study up. So, go to PokemonGoLive.com and check out the event and see what's going on. What Pokemon will be spawning. What shinies will be, at the Global Go Fest or be popping up during the Global Go Fest. And also what Pokemon will be spawning during each habitat. And also what Pokemon will be enraged, shiny and things of that nature. So once you study up and once you know what's going to be at Global Go Fest, at what time and in what capacity, whatever the case may be. And also don't forget about the special research stories and the paths, because you have an option of explore, catch, and battle. So whichever one you choose is up to you. Me personally, I would say catch, because the objective here is to, I'm assuming, catch shinies or catch Pokemon that are relevant or get more candies. So catch should be your best path option instead of battling, because you're gonna be battling Team Go Rocket Grunts, maybe random NPC trainers, whatever the case may be. So in exploring, we'll more likely have you go out and look for Pokestops that you probably never spun before. And I read, to be honest, catch is your best bet. So study up, study up. Go to PokemonGoLive.com. Also check out Leak Duck, Couple of Gaming, and Legends as well. So they got some good, ideas and tips and tricks and things of that nature, and a graphic of what will be popping up at Global Go Fest. The next thing you want to do after you study up is make a plan. So this is vague rather. So let me be more specific. There's about 4 things you can do in terms of making the plan progress. And that is that the first one is location. So again, if you're taking part in Global Go Fest, the mindset here is your weekend is absolutely free. So you're going to be out and about in some way, shape, or form, either the entire 8 hours on Saturday and on Sunday, or like 7 or 6, whatever the case may be. So you want to find a good location. So basically, you're looking at somewhere where there's going to be a bunch of Pokestops, Poke Gyms, and spawns. So this mostly looking like a park, a really big park, maybe the downtown area or recreation area. So like the recreation area for me would be the Civic Center Dearborn, which y'all seen plenty of times in this channel. But for you, it could be anywhere else. And also what you want to consider is, do you want to be walking around or do you want to drive around? So downtown area, driving around would not be the best idea spot. A park, depending on how it's structured. There's some parks where you can literally drive around, but then there's other parks where it's like, okay, you can park here and then you gotta walk around. So keep that in mind as well. In the recreation area, like the Civic Center Dearborn, you can literally drive around, like that. So that you gotta consider that as well. Also, another thing you gotta consider is food. If you're planning on being out for the entire 8 hours, unless you're like a faster where you can last that long without eating, you might want to consider, what food is near the spot that you're thinking about? Is there a McDonald's over there, or a Burger King? Go to Burger King, or a Wendy's, or whatever the case may be. And then you can, figure out, okay, when should I go get food, or whatever the case may be. Which brings me to the next point within the making a plan process, and that is this. Prioritize Pokemon. So obviously, if you're taking part in Global Go Fest, it's because of really one of these three reasons. You want to get the shinies, which is the number one reason. A number two reason is to get the candies, because you know there might be some Pokemon that you want to evolve, or you want to power up, whatever the case may be. And those types of Pokemon will be spawning during Global Go Fest, so keep that in mind. Also, don't forget to Mega Evolve your buddy so you can get more candies as well. And then of course, there's relevant Pokemon, relevant to raiding, relevant to PvP, and maybe there's some Pokemon that you might want to grab and trade because they're really rare. Your friend, for whatever reason, might not take part in Global Go Fest, or they might not get the shiny that they want, but you got it, and you got more than one. So, you know, you may want to consider trading as well, so you can get a shiny that they have that you don't have, or you didn't get, whatever the case may be. So, keep that in mind as well. So another thing you want to focus on when it comes to prioritize Pokemon is the habitat hours. So again, there's certain Pokemon that will be spawning during these habitat hours that will occur twice per day, or twice on that Saturday. So you know you're gonna get the city twice that day, and you know things that nature. Even though they haven't announced the time for some odd reason, so we still don't know what time. Although we could have an idea, but they have not announced the time for you know all these habitats. There are 4 habitats in 8 hours, and normally each habitat will come around twice. So the mindset is the city would come out twice and the others would come out twice, but there's not a time point where all of them will be spawning at the same time on Saturday. They might do that on Sunday because they haven't even said, oh, whether or not the habitats will be returning on Sunday. All they said was the Pokemon that would be spawning on Saturday will be spawning on Sunday, but they never said in what capacity. So we don't know if the habitat hours will be back on Sunday, or if it's going to be, yo, all the Pokemon spawning from the habitat Saturday, they just going to spawn whenever on Sunday. We don't know. So keep that in mind as well. So going back to the food thing. So if there's a habitat hour where it's like, you know what? There's not a lot of Pokemon there, or there's nothing there that I really want. So I can get lunch during that time span. That, you know, you want to make a plan for that as well, if possible. So keep that in mind as well. Now, let's talk about raids. You gotta prioritize the raid Pokemon. So obviously the number one shiny that's going to be at Global Go Fest is Axew. That's one of the ones that will be making their Pokemon Go debut in terms of the shinies. There's others, but this is the one right here. Because not only will it be in the Plains habitat, it will also be in raids. So should you really do both, or should you prioritize one over the other? It's up to you. Now keep in mind, Axew will be in raids on Saturday and Sunday, but it will be in the Plains habitat as well, and it will be spawning from instance as well and doing the Plain habitat. So keep that in mind. If you're confident that you can get it out in the route, then you don't have to raid on Saturday for the most part. But if you want to get the best chance of getting that shiny, go look for it in the route and do the raids on Saturday and Sunday. So keep that in mind as well. Other Pokemon that will be spawning raids that would be somewhat popular would be Groudon and Kyogre. Keep in mind, Groudon and Kyogre will be tier 5 raid bosses. They each going to be showing up outside of Go Fest. Kyogre will be coming up really soon, and then Groudon will be next. Groudon will have 2 raid hours. Obviously, Kyogre will have his own raid hour. So the question is, do you really need to raid Groudon and Kyogre during Global Go Fest? Again, that's up to you. Me personally, I would probably say no, but it's up to you. If you really want the shiny, if you really want the hundo, if you really want the Sheldo, or if you really want the XL candies, you know, so it's up to you. You got to factor all of those things in. You know, you got to take all that into consideration. Now, moving on to Sunday's raid day, obviously, Axew will be there as well, so that's up to you. If you didn't get that shiny on Saturday, then you might want to consider doing raids for Axew on Sunday. But Snorlax will be back as a raid boss on Sunday. So did you get that shiny Snorlax? If you did not, here's another opportunity for you to get it. If you did, then you don't really need another one. So you may want to prioritize other Pokemon, whether they're raid bosses or spawning out in the route, before you even think about raiding Snorlax. And speaking of whether or not you should raid some Pokemon that would be spawning in raids on Sunday, Druddigon and Rockruff will be raid bosses as well. Rockruff we have seen time and time again as a tier 1 raid boss. So do you really need to raid Rockruff on Sunday? And Druddigon, we've seen that a lot as a tier 3 raid boss. Not lately, but once upon a time we've seen that a lot as a tier 3 raid boss. So again, do you really need to raid Druddigon? I mean, it's up to you. So with Druddigon, again, we haven't seen it as a raid boss lately, and we don't know if they're going to bring it back as a tier 3 raid boss. More than likely they will, but we have no clue whether or not they will or not. So if you don't have that shiny, then you may say, well, this might be your best opportunity to get it. It's up to you. Now, in terms of Rockruff, again, we have seen Rockruff as a tier 1 raid boss for a long time. So if you don't have one, then you may say, okay, this might be my best shot to get it. Now, if you have one already, then your question is, should you keep going? Because, you need 4 to get the family, even though one of those forms is not in the game yet, but you get the point. Or should you say, oh, well, I already got one, so I can just hold out and deal with Rockruff another time, because there's other Pokemon that I want to focus on. You got to take all that into consideration. So I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, because that's going to be for my next video. I'm going to prioritize all the Pokemon that I would be gunning for doing Global Go Fest. So keep your eyes on that. That would be on Wednesday's video. Now, another thing you should do in regards to making a plan is this. The third thing, actually, is make long distance friends. Now, I'm not saying, oh, you should be friends if you're like in Georgia or in Florida or in Michigan or New York. I'm not saying, yo, you should make friends with people from Cali and no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you making friends with people from New Zealand, from Australia, from Japan. Why did I say that? Because they're gonna experience the Global Go Fest before you. If you're in Europe, if you're in America, wherever the case may be, or North America, South America. So New Zealand, Australia, and Japan, they're going to experience Global Go Fest before you. So you may want to take advantage of that, because they may be sending you raid bosses before your Go Fest even gets started. Now, as a benefit to them, and those of you who do live in New Zealand, and Australia, and Japan, your Go Fest might be over, but people in Europe, people in America, their Go Fests are still going, so they might send you raid bosses even though your Go Fest is over. So take advantage of that as well. So long distance friends will be key, especially if you're looking for certain shinies from raids. So keep that in mind as well. And speaking of folks from New Zealand, in Australia, in Japan, watch their streams. So there's going to be a bunch of people who live in New Zealand, who live in Australia, who live in Japan that's going to be live streaming. So I said this before, I said this again. Watch their streams, because you have an idea of what Go Fest will be like before yours come up, and you might even get an invite while watching their stream. So we talking the likes of Zoe 2 Dots, Cricket 23, Japan Lover, Pro Planty, Fleece King, and Starseek, and maybe Semi Slayers, and maybe Blaze Edge. There's a bunch of content creators and streamers who will get this Global Go Fest before you in Europe, you in North and South America, you in Africa, and so forth and whatnot. So you should tune into their streams, see what their Go Fest is like, and continue to make your plans, continue to study up while their Go Fest are going on before yours. So keep that in mind. And if you're watching this, if you do live in New Zealand, Australia, and Japan, once again, I apologize. I guess you have to be the guinea pigs for the rest of the world. I guess that's how it works, I guess. Another thing you should do is you can actually, work on really prep. That's another thing you should do as well. Make a plan. That's the fifth thing, actually, prep. So what I mean by prep, make sure you have the Pokemon storage. Make sure you have your items. So those would be very important. So what items do you want? Obviously, you want your lucky eggs, because there's going to be an XP challenge. You want your star pieces, so you can get the Stardust. You want your, incubators, if you have them, I guess, possibly, I don't know. They didn't say anything about eggs hatching, but if something do pop up, you want to be prepared, because remember, we are getting those 3 super incubators once a week now, unless they changed it, because based on the tweet that I saw today, they might have changed it, because I saw something about 3 pop-ins. So who knows? Also, again, get your mega Pokemon ready. Like, which one do you want to prioritize in terms of getting the candies? Is it a water type? Is it a fire type? Whatever the case may be. Make sure you prioritize which Pokemon candies that you want, and get that mega Pokemon ready to go. And of course, I think I said this earlier as well, but I'm gonna say it again, and that is this: empty out your storage. So there's Pokemon that you have that is trash or useless, get rid of it. So you want to have, if I had to be honest, you want to have at least 800 free Pokemon storage. And another thing you want to consider is what type of player you want to be. Are you going to be catching everything, or are you just going to be shiny checking? So if you're shiny checking, then I would probably say you could get away with having maybe 300, 400, 500 free Pokemon storage. You get away with that if you're just shiny checking. But if you're going to be catching everything that you see, then you may be looking at 800 at the least. just for Saturday, and then when you get done, you can go through and delete stuff for Sunday. Even though you probably gonna be doing more raids than catching, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, you want to do that as well. So you always want to make a plan. You always want to prep, even when Go Fest is going on, or in the middle of your Go Fest, or whatever the case may be. So again, hopefully you take this video to heart, and hopefully I was useful in you making your preparations for Global Go Fest. So I'm gonna call it a wrap. And with all that said, y'all know what this is. This is boy New J Gatsby, aka New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah. Subscribe. Thanks, man. Do it. After you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell icon so you never miss a new video or a live stream ever again. Thanks, guys.
Lewis the trainer, articulating pain. With my tongue, I done things that people said I can't. Now they rank 'em with the elite, but it's for the people, and victory is part of defeat. Cause when you get back on your feet, then you try again. Learn from mistakes, show 'em that I got what it takes, and I'm dying to win. I'ma hit and move away.